Little Miss Magic by Roger Hargreaves. Early one Monday morning in summer, Little Miss Magic woke in the bedroom of Abracadabra Cottage, which was where she lived. She yawned a yawn and got out of bed. She went to the bathroom to clean her teeth. "Squeeze," she said to the tube of toothpaste, and guess what? The tube of toothpaste jumped up and squeezed itself onto Little Miss Magic's toothbrush. Honestly, Little Miss Magic isn't called Little Miss Magic for nothing. When she tells something to do something, it does it. She went downstairs to the kitchen. "Boil," she said to the kettle, and it did. "Toast," she said to the toaster. "Spread," she said to the knife. The knife jumped up and spread some butter onto the toast. "Pour," she said to the coffee pot. She sat down to breakfast. Don't you wish that you could make things do like that? She was enjoying a second cup of coffee when there was a knock at the kitchen door. "Open," she said to the door. As it did, there stood Mr. Happy, looking exactly the opposite. "You don't look like your usual self," remarked Little Miss Magic. "What's the matter?" "Everything," replied Mr. Happy. "Come in and tell me about it," she said. "I have a cup of coffee." "Pour," she said to the coffee pot. "Now," said Little Miss Magic, "what is it?" "It's Mr. Tickle," replied Mr. Happy. "He's become absolutely impossible." "What do you mean?" asked Little Miss Magic. "Well," went on Mr. Happy, "he used to go around tickling people every day, but now he's going around tickling people all the time." He sighed. Little Miss Magic looked at it. "It can't be that bad," she said. "It's worse," said Mr. Happy unhappily. "Shut up," she grinned. "Come on," she said, and off they set from Abracadabra Cottage. "After you," said Little Miss Magic to Mr. Happy. "Close," she said to the door. Mr. Tickle was in full cry. What a Monday morning he was having! Tickled Mr. Mean until he moaned, and Mr. Greedy until he groaned, Little Miss Sunshine until she shivered, and Mr. Quiet until he quivered, and Little Miss Plump until she pleaded, Little Miss Shy until she sobbed. Not to mention the postman, a policeman, the doctor, 3 dogs and 2 cats, and a worm. "Aha!" cried Mr. Tickle as he spied Little Miss Magic and Mr. Happy. "Anyone for Tickle?" As he rushed up to them, reaching out with those extraordinary long arms of his, with those particularly ticklish fingers at the ends of them. Little Miss Magic looked at Mr. Happy. "I see what you mean," she said, and winked. She pointed at Mr. Tickle's extraordinarily long right arm. "Shrink," she said. Then she pointed at Mr. Tickle's extraordinary long left arm. "Shrink," she said again. And as you remember, when Little Miss Magic tells something to do something, does it. Mr. Tickle's arms were suddenly not extraordinarily long. They were extraordinarily ordinary. "That's not fair," he cried. "You spoiled my fun." "It might have been much fun to you," remarked Mr. Happy, "but it wasn't much fun for anybody else." "Come on and see me tomorrow," said Little Miss Magic to Mr. Tickle. "There," she said to Mr. Happy. "Happy now?" Mr. Happy smiled the famous smile of his. "I'll say," he said. "Come on," he added. "I'll buy you lunch." "Come." And off they went to his favorite restaurant, Smiler's. On Tuesday, Mr. Tickle went to Abracadabra Cottage. He knocked at the door. "Open," said a voice inside. "Oh, hello," smiled Little Miss Magic at the door. Opened by itself. She saw who was standing there. "Come in." I expect you'd like me to make your arms long again," she said. "Oh, yes, please," said Mr. Tickle. "Very well," she said. Mr. Tickle's face lit up. "On one condition," she added. His face fell. "You're only allowed to 1 tickle a day." "1 tickle a day," said Mr. Tickle. "That's not much." "Promise," said Little Miss Magic. Mr. Tickle sighed. Promise, he said. Grow, said Little Miss Magic. And both Mr. Tickle's arms grew back to their original long length. Now, don't forget, she reminded him, 1 tickle a day, or else, she added. Mr. Tickle went out through the door. Goodbye, she said to him. Shut, she said to the door. Mr. Tickle stood outside Little Miss Magic's cottage. Ah, well, he thought, 1 tickle in a day is better than no tickles in a day. That was when he saw one of the downstairs windows of the Abracadabra cottage was open. It was 1 tickle a day, he thought. A small smile came to his face. 1 tickle a day, he thought. Then, on that Tuesday morning, one of those extraordinary long eyes reached into the Abracadabra cottage, that the small smile on the face of Mr. Tickle turned into a giant grin. 1 tickle a day, he thought.